Okay, here we are in SketchUp, and I've had a bit of a play around. I think it's quite doable what we want to achieve. I've made a new file in meters. I called it Castle Tower, follow me. And I'm in my little corridor at the moment. It's not finished, but it gives me a little bit of an idea of what I'm going to achieve. And you can see all my little samples there. Here we go. I'm going to zoom around and show you. So I've got lots more to do on it, but it gives you a bit of an idea of where we're going to head to. Okay, so I'll go through the steps one by one up to this stage, and it could be something very useful for you. I've got to cut doors in there and little holes there to stick your bow and arrow over, and got to do little slices up here, but it should not be a problem at all. There's a couple of little things we'll talk about that you could make mistakes on, and I did a little bit of components and I cut through there, so you can see how the cross section would work like that. Might be really cool if you were playing Dungeons and Dragons and wanted a little animated effect, you know, like here are the dungeons under here, treasure and stuff like that. You could pull back bits and uncover other things. Okay, let's get into it. So I'm going to zoom back to where I started, and I'm not going to go over too much detail of the basics that we went over in our other tutorials, but I'll flick on the drawing here. But I wanted to get that sort of profile there. Okay, and I took a lot of guesswork with it. I mean, this is not a CAD drawing, this is just drawn with a, you know, I'd say it's drawn digitally. So I broke mine up into meter squares just by using the pencil tool like this. Started along there, and I think I did 5 meters on the red axis, 5 meters. What I would want to do if I'm starting something like this is get that line so it's lined up with the origin. It makes it easier for me. I'm going to line it up with the origin. So I just grabbed it with the move tool, and by the end and brought it down, snapped it in. Okay. Then I came up this side on the blue axis. If I hold down the shift and bring it over here, you can see how far I've gone up 10 meters. So if I go up to blue like that and just type in 10, there we go. I'll move that out of the way so you can see it better. In fact, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take both those and I'm going to move them up here 20, maybe 40 meters. Okay, so you can see better. What I'm doing is I'm drawing that over here just to show you the process. You could skip this bit if you think you're alright with it. I came across here, I think I did 2 meters, came down there, to there, which is 6 meters, so just come down the blue, 6, enter. So I'm using the pen tool over here, and I'm following the red axis. You might be drawing on the green, like that. Okay, but don't draw without it being the red axis or either the green one. They're perpendicular to each other, but I'm working along that red axis there. I want to come down here, but I don't know where to stop. So what I'm going to do is hit escape, pencil tool from that in there, and come up whatever that was there, 1 meter. Come up the blue. I mean, because you're starting fresh and you don't have this drawing next to it, and this doesn't make much sense, but I'll show you. If I hold down shift and move it across here, I'll get exactly the same height. And then I'm going to join it up, something like that. I might come down here, and then I broke this up. I went down, took this edge, and I moved it down the blue, but I pressed Control so I duplicate it. And I came down 1 meter. And then because I know it's 10, I went 9 times. I broke it up into meter chunks. I want to find the middle, so I'm just going to go from the midpoint there to the midpoint there. And then I'm going to do some doors. There's a door here and a door here. So instead of going like that, what I'm going to do is press Shift, no, Control, go from the center, and then I just brought it out and locked it into the middle, like that. Come down along here from that point there, and just see it goes blue, so it's hooked into the middle. And from here, I think I did Control, so from an end, so then I'll fix that up in a minute, like that. Okay, yours doesn't have to be identical, just get something like that, okay? Now, let's go here, let's take this one, and let's move it, that corner, over to here. Let's take those two and move them over here. Oh, I missed a point. See there, I'm going to drag the box around all of them. I'm going to move it. When you're trying things too, I tend to do that a lot if it's something I haven't done before, something I'm experimenting with. I'll often make copies along the way. SketchUp's not very good as a design tool. Even the full fantastic version, there are add-ons for it. And even Blender, most software sort of builds upon itself. So you can have a really good idea and then kind of lose the workflow that you did to get there. But you can also have an idea that doesn't work and you've made all these changes and you've got to go back. And if you've saved along the way or come back to it a day later and that you find Control Z won't work at all. But let's have a look here. Now I've drawn these two little circles because I want an archway in my door. The beauty of breaking it up into 1 meter by 1.5 meters and 2 meters there is I've got little 1 meter squares really. So I'm going to change it to a circle. Now I'm not going to change a circle to be anything more than the default, which is, you know, a 24-sided polygon like that. And then I'm going to go through and delete a few things. So I might get rid of that there. And then I took, because I thought this was a bit thick, so I took that line and dragged it in. But if I drag it in like that, hold down Shift and come down here, I can lock it in to be half. So I know that's a meter, half is 500 mil, and half is 250 mil, which is fine. 10 inches, 250 mil. In the castle I did on the tutorial before, I made all my walls 0.3, which is probably not, you know, it's not far off that. 0.25 is probably makes more sense if you're breaking things down. Okay, for some reason I've got a cross there, but I don't need it. I think it was just to show you the center. Okay. Yep. And going to be very messy, this drawing. Okay, so I'm going to take that one and I want to get all the distractions out of the way. I'm going to move it up on the green axis if I can find it. Blue, red, aha, green's there. So I'm going to shift, bring it up there. There's going to be stuff everywhere. Okay, so I'm out of the way. You can't see the origin. I wonder if I can add it in. What about this one? Yeah, I'll put that there. There we go. And blue. Like that. There we go. Perfect. So there we go. I've got my cross section, and as you saw before, I deleted that. Took out my doorways, and I had something like that. Now I'm not going to make it overly complex, okay? I'm trying to cut back on the complexity and trying to make it really straightforward. As you progress, you'll probably come up with little things and little reasons to do things that just work for you and your method. Okay, so I've really, for some reason, I'm going to leave that line there because I think it might be important to grab that middle point occasionally to do things with, and maybe even here and adjust that. So if I leave that there, I'll end up with like a wall going through, which is good for what I'm doing. Now, I'm going to bring it out and maybe rotate it around in a circle. Let's do it about 8 meters, maybe 10 meters. Let's have a look. Bring a line out along this red axis. Come out here, and I'm looking down the bottom. I think 10 meters is good, actually. I'm going to type in 10. We've got a 10 meter line going from this point to here. All these sizes are variable. You can change them to suit yourself. I want you to really, before you even try your finished product, have a play around with it. So anyway, I'm going to come out from here, and that's going to be the center of my rotation. I'm going to take a circle and go along here. Now you may see this done differently, different tutorials, but this is how I've always done it. I could bring it to there, it wouldn't make much difference, but I don't like it to get in the way that much, so I'm going to bring it along here. And don't bring it out sort of randomly like that. Try to have it on the red or the green, which will only be red and green. Did you notice how the circle changed, by the way? When I bring it up there, it changes to that green axis. If I had something like this, I'll just show you while we're at it. If I had the circle or the rotation tool, anything like that, where is it? There we go. It'll change colors depending on what plane it's working on, what axis it's aligned to. Okay. So obviously blue is straight up and down, vertical, red, which is really useful. And I should undo that. If you have trouble, like say I was trying to get it on the blue axis and it kept sticking to the green, come up to the blue, hold down shift and then move it. That'll help you get it where you want it to be. So if I had it on the green and held down shift, I could rotate it, move it along here and do it in relation to that. Okay, that might not mean much to you now, but it's pretty useful in the long run. So anyway, I'm going to put a circle from that end point and bring it out here. Make sure it lines up here. Now, I like to get rid of that face there, but it's not that important. I'm going to get rid of that face. I'm going to have a look. Now, as we spoke about, and as what SketchUp does, it doesn't do a true circle. It does a polygon, a multi-sided shape. The default, I'm pretty sure, is 24, so it's a 24-sided shape, which you know looks like a circle. And I tended to make that really high resolution, so I think it's too late for me to type in now, but I'll do another one. I'll do a circle here. For you guys on your little Chromebooks, I wouldn't overdo it. So I had a circle like that. I tend to, you know, up it to really smooth. However, there I typed in 128S, so 128 sides, and it makes it look really smooth. We don't want that for this, okay? And it's probably overkill. I'm going to come up there and I'm going to bring it back to 24S, perhaps even 48 might be useful, 48 sides. But I'll do another one over here. I'm going to show you something. I'm going to do another circle over here. Maybe I'll keep it on there. Put on that. I'll bring a line out here. Okay, that helps me lock it in. I'm going to do another circle here. On that circle, I'm going to draw something. From the center, I'm going to come out here. This will explain. Before I do something and you don't know why I've done it, I'm going to show you. So I've cut a segment out of that circle. See, it's on this point here. And I'm going to come up to blue and just draw something, I don't know, something like that. Okay, that shape. And they'll rotate around so it look like a little cone sort of thing. So now I'll change my extrude to the follow me tool. So So this is what we're going to be looking at, that follow me tool. So I'll change that. Select, I'll take this line and I'll follow me around there, and you watch what happens. Follow me. It looks cool, but it's not what I wanted. Control Z. So what it's done is it's followed up this line around here, around there, up there. I don't want that. I want to get rid of that. Rid of that. And I might even get rid of this because it might get in our way. Okay, so that's my arc. Now if I take it, you follow me, end up with this kind of mess. That's to do, if you have a look up here, so it's going from the center to that point, and it kind of flicks it out a bit. Show you how I get around that, because that's not a perfect quadrant taken out of that, okay? I'm going to go back. Now I'm going to take this edge. While I'm at it, I'm going to reverse that because I hate working in blue. I'm going to take that one and I'm going to rotate it. Let's go right back. Now you can see where my point is there. I want it to go halfway. This is how I would do it. Okay. So I'm going to take the whole circle. And instead of the follow me, I'm going to use move and the little rotate. Okay. Once again, that rotate will go different colors depending on what plane it's on. Or you saw it go pink there. Pink's a useful color too. This is aligned to something. Okay, so rotate. Rotate it along this edge, so you can go up anywhere along here or down here, probably even here. And I'm going to rotate the whole thing. In fact, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go from the center to the midpoint of that line and rotate it back. Now, I'm going to go along here. Green, that's going to the centers. Let's get rid of, not that one, that one. Is that the right one? No, that one. Okay, so there's Pac-Man. Now watch what happens. So instead of going from that intersection, which is down here, I've rotated it slightly to the midpoint. So I've rotated it from there to there. Go back and watch it again if it's doing your head in. Then let's make a weird shape with the pencil tool. Come up from the middle, across here, down there, something like that. And I'll get rid of that because that gets in my way. I'll get rid of these lines. And I'll say I want to rotate that one around here. So I've got my follow me tool ready to go. I'm going to select that path, follow me, pick that, and that's more what we want. There's a face missing there, but I can use the pencil tool to put that back in. So just like that, from edge to edge, as long as they're aligned, and delete it. And I've got that cone. Okay. Now, back to what we're doing. The reason I showed you that, because I'll get the same problem here if I rotate around with this point like that. So I'm going to take it, double click, it's blue. I don't want everything to be blue, so I double click on that surface there, like that. That's all. So that shouldn't be blue. In fact, if I get rid of that face and do it that way, it's even better. Should have done that to start with. Okay, so remember, if I come from the left, everything that's fully in the box will be selected. If I come from the right, everything it touches, and that's a complete path. So rotate, find my center, drag it along. That endpoint should be the midpoint, because that's where I brought my 10-meter line out and then I rotated around that. So I'm going to go to that endpoint, come along here to that midpoint. So when it looks like that midpoint, I'm going to select it and then drag it to that red line. I've duplicated it. I'm going to Control Z and get out of that zoom and do it again. I don't have two, do I? Let's have a look. Delete, no. Control Z. That's going to go to select, rotate. Somewhere I must have pressed. Oh, when I was zooming, I pressed Control. There we go. That's better. So that goes, that axis there is on that halfway point. I'm going to come down here to the midpoint. Put that face back in anyway, I'll delete it later. And from that midpoint to that end point, because I'm going to do a cross section. Get rid of that line, those lines, and that face. And I don't want it to go around and up here, so I'm going to get rid of that line. So something like that. So from the top view, it's like there. Okay, let's do the follow me right now and see what happens. I'm going to take that line there, that path that's going around flat, and I'm going to go follow me, and let's do this one. And I should have picked it again. All the things you've got to remember. That one there, and this line, that one there. That looks pretty good. Okay. So I'm happy with that. Now, it would be useful to keep the center. So let's move the origin. Let's come up here, 10 meters, and let's take that origin again. Keep that in the center. So that was that little button under the tape measure. This one here, axis. What are those? Oh, there's a cross-section plane. We could have used that. Next time. I'm still learning where everything is in this, and it is missing a lot of things from the main version. I'm going to delete that line because I know where the origin is. I don't need that for the time being. I can put it back later if I want. And I've got my castle. Before I start texturing it, let's break this up a little bit. Okay, so you can be as creative as you want here, but we're going to rotate everything. We're going to rotate. So I'm going to go from that point to that point because it's not a perfect circle, and it'll come from the center anyway. What we're going to do, just to make it look better, and I never used to use this, but I watched some videos on some architecture jobs the other day done with SketchUp, and they tend to put these hidden geometry lines on, and I think it's really useful. I used to always be about hiding all that, and that's not something you're going to see in a final render 3D print anyway, but it's useful to know. So I've come from that point to that point, and I'm just going to bring it out maybe 200 and 200. So let's use the pencil tool again. Remember, it's not going, I can't draw a rectangle because we're off there. I could rotate it, I guess, and do all sorts of things, but let's do it with the pencil tool. Bring along that edge, type in 0.2, which 0.2 of a meter is 200 mil. There it is. If I bring it along here, see how it goes different colors? Purple should mean it's parallel to that line, but it's not wanting to do it at the moment. So I'm going to come up here, 0.2, and then I'm going to join them up. Yeah, like that. From here, 0.2. Here, 0.2. I don't think that's the right one. Ah. And I'm going to bring it like that. Purple, see how, or pink. See how it's gone pink over here and here? That means they're parallel, they're in relation to each other. And let's get rid of that, and I think these lines too. I don't just end up with that. And what I'm going to do is use the push-pull, bring it down to there, bring it down to there. Okay, now let's duplicate that around. We had, we know it's 24 sided. So we've taken a quarter away. 24 divided by 4 is what, 8? So we should have 16, should we? I'm not going to count them, but we should have 16 of these faces. Let's take this and duplicate it all the way around. I'm going to take the pen tool and get it in the position and see if we've got everything in. Everything's blue. Always consider what's underneath. I don't think I went down to pick any of those lines. And I'm going to use that rotate from this origin here to there. Now I can move it along. Now the button to duplicate is Control. I'm going to click once like that and say 15 times. Too short, let's do it again. Must have more. Late in the day, I'm not thinking. Move it to where I'm going to get a good circle. So I don't want that because I'll end up with this face and that too. I want to limit it. I'll get rid of that with the shift. Okay, so I use shift to unselect anything I don't want. Oh, there's one in here, so I'm going to shift. Let's get in a better spot. There. No, don't have any unnecessary lines. It wouldn't affect too much, but it would make my drawing and my life messy. Okay, so I'm going to go rotate. What did I do? 16 before and it stopped about there. So I'm just going to do 18, 19. I'll do 19. I'll be extra. Do extra. Control to duplicate. Go to this edge. And let's see, I want maybe one every 2. So I'm going to go there. And I'm going to type in 18 times. There we go. Oh, it was almost. So I don't want that. Gone. And then I'm going to come around each one of these and just bring them down to that platform there. Now I can see, because there was a face there, when I bring it down it's deleting that as well. You want to okay, do we want to sort that out? Because we could go along here and we could draw pencil line and put it back in, right? But while we're learning, let's see how I would avoid that. I'm going to Control Z, go back before I extruded those down. Okay, so now I'm just going to take those lines there. That's probably a better way to do it anyway. From the center here, if you haven't moved your origin, draw in your line from here to here and find the center of that. I'm going to go from here, press Control to there and type in 17 times. I know how many there are now. And then each one of those. I wish I could do this in one go, but I don't think I can. Never have been able to. Just go along there, and I'm going to speed this up.